Most people believe success comes from big breakthroughs, a new strategy, a new opportunity, a sudden burst of motivation. But success is actually based on consistent small actions over a long period of time. But before we dive into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Lynn Panetti. I was once a single mum who slowly changed her life one habit at a time. Today, I run a successful 7-figure business, but more importantly, I've built a life that is happy and fulfilling. Now, on this channel, I share insights, not just about growing a business, but about building a better life, because I know what it feels like to be overwhelmed, stressed, and constantly chasing success. Over time, I realized that real success isn't just financial, it's about building a life that feels meaningful, balanced, and aligned with who you truly want to become. And I'm passionate about helping other entrepreneurs achieve that kind of success too. After years of building businesses, raising a family, and trying to grow in every area of life, I realized something very different. Real transformation doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from the small actions you repeat daily, especially when no one is watching. In my book, 360 Degree Success, I describe consistency as the heartbeat of the S3C method. Because clarity without consistency is just a good idea. Consistency is what turns vision into results. There's a quote that really changed the way I think. There is no such thing as time management. There is only self-management. Rory Vaden. For years, I believed my problem was time, not enough hours, too many responsibilities, but eventually I realized something uncomfortable. I didn't have a time problem. I had a self-leadership problem. My results weren't built on what I did when I felt inspired. They were built on what I did consistently, even when I didn't feel like it. And consistency isn't about perfection, it's about trust. Every time you show up for a habit, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Before you can show up consistently, something deeper must change. Your identity. Because we don't act according to what we want, we act according to who we believe we are. You can set goals, create vision boards, and download habit tracking apps. But if deep down you still believe you're someone who doesn't follow through, you will eventually sabotage yourself. I remember thinking waking up at 3 a.m. was only something extreme CEOs did. Then I met someone in real life who actually lived that lifestyle. Suddenly, my belief changed. The thought shifted from, that's impossible for me, to, if she can do it, maybe I can too. And once your belief shifts, your behavior starts to follow. One tool that helped me to stay consistent is a simple mindset reset. 3 statements. I am, I can, I get to. First, let's talk about I am. Listen to the story you tell yourself. If you constantly say, I am a procrastinator, I am someone who never finishes things, you reinforce that identity. But if you start saying, I am someone who follows through, I am becoming someone who honors my commitments, your actions begin to change. Second, let's talk about I can. Sometimes belief comes from seeing someone else succeed. For example, my mum struggled with her weight her entire life. Then she met someone who transformed their health through intermittent fasting. That moment changed her belief. 7 years later, she's still living that healthier life. She went from a size 14 to size 8 in her 60s. The lesson? Sometimes you just got to see it to believe it. Belief is the first step towards transformation. Thirdly, let's talk about I get to. This changes the energy behind your habits. Instead of saying, I have to exercise, I have to wake up early, I have to stop scrolling, you shift to, I get to move my body, I get to build the life I want, I get to take care of my future. Consistency becomes easier when habits feel like privileges rather than punishments. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they set goals that don't truly matter to them. Goals based on external validation, social expectations, or status. But real change comes from intrinsic goals, goals that align with who you want to become. Before I set a goal, I ask myself, what is the goal? Why is it deeply important to me? How will I feel when I achieve it? What actions will I take? What might sabotage my progress? And what beliefs will fuel me forward? This level of reflection makes consistency easier because your habits are connected to something more meaningful. One of the most powerful ideas from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear is this: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Most people don't lack goals, they lack systems. That's why in my own framework, inspired by James Clear, I use a very simple rule for building habits. 4 steps are: make it easy, make it obvious, make it leveraged, and make it daily. Making it easy. Start small enough. Making it easy is all about starting so small enough that you remove resistance. For example, aim for 30 minutes of exercise instead of committing to an intense 1-hour workout. Make it obvious. This is about designing your environment to support the habit. Like lay out your gym clothes the night before. Put your journal beside your bed. Making it leverage is all about stacking habits with things you already do. For example, listening to a podcast while walking, or giving your mum a call while you're commuting to work. Now finally, make your habits daily. Daily habits remove negotiation. When something becomes part of your daily rhythm, it becomes part of your identity. Now this simple framework has helped me to build habits across many areas of my life, from my health, family time, business. Another mistake people make is trying to change everything too quickly. We live in a culture obsessed with speed, quick results, fast success. But in reality, fast often fails. Slow and steady creates lasting change. Think about it. You don't get white teeth by brushing for 30 minutes once a day for a month. You brush 2 minutes every day for life. You don't build a great marriage with one big romantic holiday each year. It's the small daily actions, the tone of your voice, the appreciation you show. And you don't build a thriving business from one big launch. It's built through daily effort, improving systems, and serving your customers well. Success isn't about speed. It's about staying power. A question from the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, changed everything for me as well. He asked, what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier? For me, the answer was waking up early, because waking up early created space for prayer, journaling, movement, and planning my day instead of reacting to my day. I was leading it. Later, I asked a different version of that question. What's the one thing I need to remove that would make everything else easier? For me, the answer was alcohol. Even though I wasn't drinking heavily, it was still sabotaging my mornings. Poor sleep, less motivation, more resistance to the habits that helped me grow. After losing 2 phones in alcohol-related incidents, I reached my breaking point. Enough was enough. I quit drinking for good. Surrounding myself with people who lived alcohol-free showed me something powerful. Life could still be joyful without alcohol. Today, I wake up clearer, more energized, and more consistent than ever. Now, even with the best systems, everyone falls off track sometimes. That doesn't mean you failed. Usually it means something is misaligned. Your environment, your systems, your identity, or it's simply your motivation. Consistency isn't about never slipping, it's about returning faster each time. Consistency is not about perfection, it's about building a relationship with yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-trust grows. And that trust spreads into every part of your life, your health, your marriage, your parenting, your leadership. In my book, 360 Degree Success, I describe consistency as a key pillar of the S3C method: self-worth, clarity, consistency, and calm. Because once you know who you are and what life you want, consistency becomes the bridge that turns those ideas into reality. Success isn't built in one big moment. It's built in the rhythms you repeat every day. Now, if you want to explore these ideas further, I share the full S3C framework and practical exercises in my book, 360 Degree Success, where I guide you step by step through designing a life that works across every dimension: business, family, health, and purpose. You can find the book in the link below. And if you enjoy conversations about intentional living and personal growth, subscribe to my channel today, because success isn't just about building a business, it's about building a great life.